there, it's Milmo here, and I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for this Act number 2 of All Out War number 1. The main reason being I would like another elite token. As per usual, I do openings when I get 10 of them. I will have 6 once I get this one, so hopefully I'll get another 4 in quick concession and then be able to do another elite token opening video for you guys and see what we can pull out. Of course, last time I got a bunch of 3s. Hopefully this time we can at least get 1 4-star or something nice, 5 if we're really lucky. But just for this one, we are bringing back the Kenny team. I absolutely love this team. If you didn't hear me before, I guess bragging about this little B++ zombie killing, slaughtering epicness, even though I guess they're led by an epic character, so they can be called epicness, right? So what we got there is the Kenny as leader with the +36 crit for range characters, and then we've got a few players in there that just have crit rushes. So we've got Connor, also Sophia, we've got Richard, and finally Carl, who doesn't have a crit rush, but I just like using him because he is one of the newer players, and I thought it would be nice if you guys could see him in a bit of action in these early stages, because I don't know how much I'll use him later on, so I just thought I'd give you a bit of a glimpse at him right now. Typically, like I said in the previous video, when using this team, you can just solely use Connor's a crit rush, which gives a +35, and by the time that ends in those 3 turns, he's actually ready and recharged and ready to go basically again with his rush, so you get that +35, and it's just this continuation of +35 crit, which makes your job a whole lot easier. And if you pair that with Kenny's skill with the +36 crit, then that is 71 crit you're getting solely just there off those 2, and that's not including the weapons and any sort of added battle items like nitric oxide, or for these guys it would be sharpshooters to get that more 20. So they are packing a fair bit of crit. As I've said previously, the minimum amount they will be getting when Connor's rush is off and running is Kenny at 86 crit, so that is a fairly high crit count, and that's why they are headshotting their way through this. I'm very impressed by this team. Like I said, I will mix them up a bit differently and bring in a few different plays with Kenny and just see how that crit leader skill plays out. But at the moment they are doing fantastically and they are headshotting their way through it. And like I said, Connor's crit rush is absolutely amazing. Being that it is at 3 turns rather than the 2, it just gives that little bit extra time so that it can build up, and then he's ready to go by the time that last rush that you set off is ending. So it's really nice to have that continuation and that linear line of these rushes that continually go off and keep you boosted with that +35 crit. I've not used too much of Richards or Sophia's and things like that. I'm just keeping them in that team for later stages. If it gets a bit harder and I possibly may need those crits rushes a bit more, like I said, just remember with crit rushes they don't actually stack up, so I can't use Connor's rush and then Sophia's rush and get +65 crit. It doesn't work like that. Whatever the last rush to go off is with that crit, that's what crit count you will get. So if Sophia goes off last, then it will be the +30. If Connor goes off last, it will be the +35. So just remember that. But hopefully these guys will be okay, and I can probably use them more than likely throughout. I'm guessing there's going to be 3 parts to this all-out war, so there will be a number 2 and a number 3. I'm hoping I'll be able to use these guys. I'm assuming I'll be able to use them throughout these stages and really benefit from that +36 crit leader skill and also that +35 rush of Connor's, and just make it look like a breeze with this very low team grade, but definitely a very high crit team here. As you can keep seeing, you sort of see Connor's lifesteal goes off every now and then. I'm not a big fan of that as a specialist skill. It's not my favourite one. I'm not. Same with Sophia's tendency. I'm not a really big fan of that. Parting shots are okay. Probably my favourite of them all is definitely the shields. So anyone that's a shielder, for example, Lee, Garrett, they, I think, bring a new aspect to the game and can definitely boost your team, but also give it that extra edge that can make it very hard to beat. There are a few people in my region that are running Lees, and there's a couple that are actually running both Lee and Garrett, and it just makes it that bit harder and makes the way in which you have to construct your team that bit more thoughtful. Definitely strategy and tactics play a big part when it comes to shielders. I have seen some absolutely brutal team built on the back of shielders. What I mean by that, if you have a strong Lee that shields and then you have him backed up by a whole heap of Andreas, that's absolutely brutal. She has a fast 45 AP rate, which means basically because Lee is a shielder and he is a strong, you can't bring in alerts because you're going to have all them toughs just ready to smash you and go off and do mass damage. So with Lee as a shielder, it makes it that bit harder just purely because you can't bring in alerts, so it's going to take you a longer time to get rid of him because you can't bring in that opposite trait and you can't get all that trait bonus and damage bonus against him. But then once you get rid of him, by the time you usually get rid of him, Andrew is usually to go off with that brutal rush with that 800% damage and will kill usually all your players. That is the best combination I have seen of a shielder and a general player at the moment has definitely been the Lee, then surrounded by Andrew, and you have Andrew as your leader, so then you're getting that boost to your AP rate, and it's just an absolutely brutal team. As always, thanks for watching.